Hello everyone and welcome to another random stream. Just going to stream for an hour basically, just having a look at some of the stuff going on. We've got Tata Steel, we've got the Masters and the Challengers. We've also got the CCC. We've got Torch against Stockfish, and finally we've also got the TCC with the 4K machines against the old guys. So that's all pretty good. So let's dive in. I was planning to start a little bit earlier, but was a little bit delayed. Well, our family meal to celebrate my brother's birthday that took a little bit longer. But there's been some interesting stuff here. I think the first game that you sort of catches your eye is Alireza against Magsudlu. So I really should check how to pronounce these names properly, really, shouldn't I? Very shameful of me. But anyway, let's have a look how that went, because it looks pretty interesting. So this is e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Good old-fashioned Berlin, and we get the variation with rook e1, bishop e7, bishop f1, takes. I mean, it's just like an exchange French, isn't it? Really, you know. And you're just claiming that that White's got a little edge because Black's pieces are slightly poorly placed. I mean, I did quite a lot of work on the Berlin, and there's one video on the Silicon. One, maybe more videos actually on the Silicon Road YouTube site, where I take a look at the Berlin and all the experiences of the engines playing black and white, yeah, you know, just very, very interesting. There's a great game, Stockfish against Winter, which I analysed in a reasonable amount of depth, where Stockfish manages to win, you know, just this kind of type of dull position, really. But yeah, I mean, in principle, Black should be fine, but yeah, it's not necessarily a great experience for Black to play like this. So bishop f4 takes, and now quite interesting here. I mean, Black can take this pawn on d4 immediately. You know, White takes on d6 and gets double pawns. Basically, gives Black double pawns. Black, the engines are drawing this with consummate ease, but can be a little bit annoying for a human player. Black played knight e8, and here White doesn't defend the pawn with c3, but plays the move knight c3. Now let's just have a little look. I'm just going to have a quick little look there, just to see what the theoretical situation is on that. I mean, you know, mostly this is mostly whenever you see something in the Berlin on move 13 or 14 or 15 or 16, you can be pretty sure that you know, there's loads of games in it already. But just intriguing to see. Let's have a look. Just typing in the moves there. Knight c3. Here we are. So how many games do we have with this? Well, we have, I've got 69 games with bishop takes d4 and a few with safer ideas. So let's have a look. Where did the novelty take place here? So bishop takes d4, knight d5, very aggressive. I mean, it can also be, you know, these players sometimes they just play this stuff, and it's just meant to be a bit of a test of you know, what the opponent knows. You know, does the opponent remember what the refutation was, or is it so long ago that this has been played that yeah, that you don't know? That's also possible. So d6 played, and this is the main theoretical move. Bishop g5. In we go. f6. Bishop h4. I mean, we are way into theory here. Actually, I'm looking at this, and we're following a game, Vashila Grav against Alireza Firuja. So yeah, obviously, maybe he had a thought during the game about what could be done here. Yeah, rook b1 played. This is still all completely the main move. Bishop e5. And now we're playing f4. Absolutely. And now, very interesting, after f4, black played the move bishop e6, which I'm not getting anything. I'm seeing c6. I'm seeing bishop d4 check, c6 being the main move. But bishop e6 is very, very unusual here. In actual fact, I'm seeing this as a novelty. So that's quite intriguing. I wonder how much time. It looks like black spent a fair amount of time on that move. So yeah, might this have been one of those moments where you're sort of saying yeah, you can't remember it anymore, and then you've just got to make something up as it goes along. That's quite interesting. Let me just I'm just going to check one more source. I always check the Hierarchs Explorer. Just to check. It's always got a nice, always got some nice theoretical things. So let me just have a quick check just to see whether edit, paste. There we are. F4. Yeah, C6 and bishop D4, and there's nothing else known. Sometimes part of the Hierarchs book is that it analyzes stuff with engines, and you get extra analysis somehow. But no, this move bishop e6 is completely unknown. Well, you can see according to the engine, it's a bad move. Okay, it's going to be at low depth, this, so you can't be quite sure, but still quite interesting. So bishop c4 played, which looks quite like quite a useful move, and we still got yeah, the problem with this bishop here. So bishop check, king h1, and now bishop f7. Yeah, well, obviously it looks pretty risky. Yeah, I mean, we've got rook takes b7 here. This is open. We've got ideas like knight e7 check, but yeah, you just go king f8. What Alireza does is quite nice, really. He plays this move queen e4, which hits the bishop on d4. And it means that when you go something like knight e7, if the king goes to f8, then you'll have something like queen takes h7. So yeah, it feels like a very good connecting move, really. You know that that yeah, the queen somehow is connecting with key elements in the position, you know, and doing it with tempo by attacking the bishop on d4. Yeah, just one of the things that vaguely occurred to me was, you know, could you play a move like f5 and open up the line of the queen on the bishop? But there's this unpleasant move knight e7, which blocks that diagonal, and then you're just going to take the bishop on d4. And of course, after queen e7, the white queen's no longer attacked. So black played the move bishop c5. Yeah, principle slightly ugly move, really. You know, you're moving the bishop that way and the king's this way, you know, so but okay, not particularly clear how you're going to exploit this. So knight e7 check played, and now king f8. Obviously if king h8 would just take on f7. So knight e7 played, and now king f8. And I guess that this is one of the crucial points. How are you going to do this? So Alireza took on h7 here, which is quite natural. I was just wondering whether whether you know, rook e1 would be even stronger here. Something like this. I mean, because if bishop c4, we could just go queen c4, right, and then just threaten queen g8. And you know, if you do something like this, you always got to watch out for that. But I could go queen e4 and then queen b7, which, you know, feels like a good advantage. Again, yeah, you maybe, I'm not sure whether that's a bigger advantage than what Alireza played. I'm just wondering, was there something clever here? I mean, I suppose what you could do, you could try is to play d5 if you go rook e1 here, trying to open up this line, you know. So obviously bishop d5, I just go bishop e7, or even queen e7 maybe. So that would be good, I guess. If you go knight d5, well, you've been sort of chased back, really. Maybe even c6 here would be. Well, h7 is hanging, so well, maybe you could do it. I mean, c6 is not. I guess this isn't actually. There's actually nothing at all for white. So maybe you could actually do that. And if queen h7, then again we can go bishop e7 here, and queen h8 check bishop g8, and you know, we're covering against this. So maybe that's maybe d5 is the one. So queen h7 played. Now black played bishop c4. Obviously queen e7. I've just got queen h8, and this is mate. And I guess if king e7, we just go something like rook e1 check. Because king f8 is queen h8, obviously, and if you go to d7, well, I guess I throw in queen f5 check first of all, chase you over there, and then come here. Unless I've got an easier mate. I don't see an easier mate, not straight off the bat. So, but this looks pretty good. I mean, I'm threatening bishop e8, and also, yeah, bishop d5, and also queen d5, and all of that. So that looks pretty winning, really. So after queen h7, black plays bishop c4. Wondering a little bit about d5. Would that have been possible? It's the same idea. If rook e1, then I go bishop e7, just like the line we looked at before. So maybe something like 100% sure how that would be winning. I mean, I can do some stuff like, you know, knight d5, for example, and the idea is if takes, I could probably go check. King f7, I've got queen h5, which should be a nice win. It's not 100% clear, but yeah, probably should be. And if king there, I can go rook e1, check, and here I could go bishop d5 maybe, and have rook d1 checks and all that. Not 100% clear, but yeah, I mean, I guess that this sort of stuff is winning somehow. Not 100% clear to me, but anyway, you know, I mean, bishop c4 played. It's a question mark there. Interesting. And then rook e1. So yeah, I mean, rather than in this way, you've avoided this resource d5 somehow. So black taking on e7 now. I mean, we were just threatening. Quite unusual, actually, isn't it? Just trying to think of a random move. You know, for example, if you did played a random move, c6 or whatever, I go check here and mate. Isn't that amazing? Never seen that one before. So black took on e7 here, and then we're just taking, and queen e4 check, hitting these two, and after bishop e6, f5. So rook d8 has been played, and now, oh, he's delaying it a little bit, g4. Yeah, I guess the reason for delaying is after king there, he probably wants to take there, you know, threatening with gain of tempo. And after king e7, maybe we get a move like g5 in, something like that. I guess that's what he's doing. So c6 played by black. So I guess black's threatening something like knight c7 now to cover e6. Yeah, question is now whether something like g5 is quite strong. Whether you want to take on e6 first. Say this looks quite decent. I mean, I think black has to play knight c7, but I'm just going to take on here, I guess. I think the point is that, you know, I want to do something like this and go queen h7 check, king f8, bishop f6, rook e8, something like this. This looks pretty dire, doesn't it, really? Yeah, maybe we just go h4 or something, you know, just queen our pawn. Queen b7 is also possible. This looks pretty dire, really. Yeah. Just completely winning there, I think. So I think g5 looks good, unless I'm missing something obvious. But yeah, it just looks really, really good. I mean, I was Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was vaguely wondering whether I could play a move like d5, for example, and try and do it that way. But I mean, I've got moves like queen g6, for example, and yeah, that's just killing. This is just killing. So it looks like Alireza has won a great game, and yeah, the question will sort of be whether in this position after f4, did Black forget his theory, or did Alireza have something up his sleeve, or yeah. And but it basically looks like bishop e6 was a pretty bad move, really, and not a good novelty at all. Yeah, no, very interesting indeed. I'm just I'm gonna look up whether I can see one last source. Let's have a look. There we are. Yeah, let's go. I'll show you. Just give me 2 seconds. There we are. Here we are. Let's have a look. Can I take? Yeah, I can. Wait a minute. Let me just grab. Doing some stuff in the background. I'll share it after. Don't worry. It's just input fen. Yeah. Okay. Haha. Okay, so I'm just. Can I share this screen as well? I think I can. Just. I'm sure I can do this. One of those things that you sort of say, Matthew, you should have thought about this before, really, but it's all going to be fine. Don't worry. So input fen. Oops, good lord. Let me just get that. So this might be new to you, actually. If that's the case, then that is a nice thing to share. Let me have a look. Am I sharing that on my screen right now? Yay, I certainly am. Oh, it doesn't render very well here, but so this is chessdb.cn, and it's actually the brainchild of the guy who sponsors the TCC, and essentially it's just enormous amounts of stockfish computing power, analyzing lots and lots of openings. And the nice thing about it is that you can just give a position to or an opening to this, and even submit some more. And it'll just analyze it for you. So it's really quite incredible, actually, and a really nice resource. I'm just gonna. I think I've gone one move too far here, so let me just stay. As you can see, you can just put in any position here. Yeah, we've got c6, which it's giving a score of -5. So that's fine. That's just I think slightly worse for black. That means bishop d4 check -86. It said it's clearly worse for black. Rank 2. That just means that's the move that you want to play. And bishop e6 is -99, so I mean that's a clear disadvantage for black. I think the moves are from your side. Yeah, that's right. It's from so now 100 means better for white. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird interface, but yeah, bishop c4 there. Then we get bishop d4, king h1. This is the actual game. Bishop f7 was the best move. Queen e4 again the best move. Knight e7 check, the best move. King f8. Queen h7. So yeah, Alireza knows his stuff. It's clear. And there we are. Actually, the move that I was suggesting there. I hope you can see it on here. It doesn't, like I said, doesn't render particularly well to a big screen. Maybe I can zoom it a little bit. There we are. Is that looking better? Sorry, just looking back on my screen there. Yeah, that's looking a bit better, isn't it? And there, what I actually said, I suggested this move d5 in this position, and that is the best move. Still -125, so I think that's centipawns. I think that's -1.25 centipawns. So, yeah, saying that d5 was the best move. Okay, request for analysis. There we are. You see, that's what can happen. You suggest a move, and then afterwards you suggest, and it's completely free for everyone, right? So you just submit positions and go for it. Okay, thanks, David, and yeah, thanks, Abdul Rahman. Nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, I am surprised, to be honest, that you the black here sort of obviously failed to remember the theory here, because yeah, it's quite recent. He's a very experienced Berlin player as well, Param. So yeah, it's but anyway, knight takes d5, and then bishop takes d5. Oh, this is the main line that I was showing, actually. Yeah. And then I was saying, yeah, queen h8 check. As you can see, it goes very quickly. You've got some big stockfish hardware behind this. So maybe I'm tiring it out, or maybe I'm asking too much too soon. As you can see, by the way, there's also, I've used this a lot for Chinese chess when I was learning Chinese chess. So there's also an interface for Shanqi for Chinese chess. King f7 is the best move. Okay, yeah, I was thinking king f7, queen h5 check, and then I was wondering about g6 actually, but I think, yeah, I mean, g6 is probably best, but we'll take on d5 with the queen, and it's just going to be good, isn't it? So I was more interested probably in king e7, rook e1 check, and then I was thinking king d6, bishop takes d5. That's what I was expecting. So, well, we'll see whether Grandmaster analysis has matched what the engines are coming up with. King d6. But the nice thing about this is that every bit that's analysed just gets remembered. So you've really got a huge amount of stuff here. Yeah, this was what I was saying. So yeah, okay. It's what's the damage? What are they saying? Minus 1.89 is pretty bad for black here. Rook d1 check, but yeah, okay. I mean, black's still vaguely fighting, and certainly in a human game, anything can happen in these things. But yeah, big shock there, and yeah, quite a big surprise, I suppose, that oh, sorry, this is rock on Torment. That the black sort of played this move, bishop e6. So it will be interesting to find out from him later, what actually happened here. So he's a tough fighter. So it's not over yet. Still, let's have a look. So we've got what other games have we've got going? We've got Prague against Nodibek. This one is looking quite equal, I have to say. Not looking too interesting. This one, Jan Nepomniachtchi against Yu Wenyun. Again, I would expect this to be pretty equal, really. White's a bit more active, black king on the back rank. But on the other hand, everything is quite well covered and protected. But yeah, I think, hey, Sloslav. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, these positions are always tricky. And, well, we saw what Anish did to Yu Wenyun yesterday, really ground down like anything. So, yeah, I think we're going to get something, going to get an attempt here anyway from Jan as well, because, yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if this position is probably okay for black, yeah, I mean, it's always got the seeds of disaster in it. You somehow manage to bring your king into the queen's side, and it's all gone. Yeah, that's right, David. So yeah, not sure. Just vaguely interested by this game. I'm just wondering. Oh no, I thought it was maybe the same opening as Max had with White against Jan yesterday, but it looked vaguely similar. But no, nothing there. What is this position like? This looks all right for black, doesn't it? This queen c5 is quite a sharp little move. Let's have a little think about why is this working. So I take on f6 here. Why is this working? I mean, there's some feeling of queen e3 checks and all that, but obviously this bishop on here will need to be distracted. And the question is how would that possibly be happening? I mean, I could go e5. This is possible with the idea of bishop e5, queen e3 check, which is obviously fairly serious. But I could, I can just play moves like, for example, I don't know whether it's the best one, but bishop h6, and that is all. That looks all right. That doesn't look too bad. So what would you do then? Would you do something like rook d4? Would this be the idea? I mean, it's interesting, right? Because if you go rook d4, e d4, this potentially could be quite unpleasant. So a move like queen b3, I've got bishop f7 picking up the bishop. So I'd have to go queen b4, but then I'm going to have something like queen f5 and come in here. I mean, this looks like a total disaster. Oh, wait a minute then. Is that the idea? Sorry, I'm forgive me, I'm old. Yeah, queen f5 straight away. That's sneaky. I mean, I could go bishop a2 in that position, I suppose. I mean, I am covering my b1 square. Okay, so I guess I am looking at, trying to think which one, bishop d4 maybe. Now this one is hanging, but I'm guessing that queen c7, king a8, this threat of rook c8 is just going to be too much, really. Bishop a2, e5. You think, David? That could be the move, couldn't it? Well, I was thinking bishop takes e5 simply. Ah, bishop e3 check. You're absolutely right. Yes. Then e5 will be the move. Oh, very nice. That's quite nice geometry, really. Presumably, I'm a little bit slow to spot it, but still, that's quite nice. But queen c5. So, what could we have here? I was wondering about b4 even, actually, but queen f2, rook here. I don't know. It looks a bit ridiculous. I was trying just to exchange off queens, but yeah, you'd lose. No, that's rubbish. So bishop e6 played by Jordan, which is quite interesting. And then the question is whether is Black going to exchange off queens and try and claim something with the damaged pawns? I don't think so. I don't think that looks like anything good at all. Or are you going to try and do something a bit more exciting? Yeah, it's got the feeling that you should be trying for something a bit more exciting, really, but not clear how. But maybe we don't need to be that exciting. I mean, maybe we just go f takes c5 here and then just ask white what you're going to do first of all. Because obviously anything like bishop e5, for example, I just got queen e3, which is really unpleasant. So, I mean, I can go queen c5, bishop c5, but then I can't take on here because of bishop e3 again. So, I mean, I might need to do something like bishop g5, for example. And then, yeah, I don't know, rook d1 and rook e8 or something, rook d6 even, hoping for some sort of possible stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, whatever, Black should be fine in some way. That is absolutely true. So if f takes e5 is that good, then Black's definitely got no problems. And then the only question is whether we can find something that would be more dangerous. I mean, queen f2, has a certain feeling. Certainly in a blitz game, it's something that you might just whip out there. But I'm not actually sure how I deal with e takes f6. I mean, bishop d4, we start getting to the point where we can simply go rook takes d4, and then we could, you know, take some stuff and play f7 maybe. No, it's not so clear. But still, it's getting you a little bit worried, that sort of thing. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, the one thing you can't do is go queen d2 because we got this move bishop b2, queen b2, queen c5 check, which is quite nice geometry and winning as well. But yeah, I mean, f takes e5 looks fine for black. So it looks like Max is actually doing quite okay there. Bishop a5. I'm guessing b4 then, Slow Slav, I think. Yeah, not clear. But I think black's fine. I've got my... oh, yeah. Actually, it's kind of happened, this. So, yeah, black's absolutely fine here. You know, got a weak e5 pawn, quotation marks, but, you know, beautifully supporting and supported by a bishop. And there's this f3 pawn that we can attack here as well. So, yeah, no. Black's doing nicely. So, well, I mean, you know, it's no... I'm not partial or anything, but it is nice. Would be nice if Max got a, you know, got a draw there, because yeah, you don't want any player to be suffering too much, you know, and especially a new player, you know, in the tournament, you know, you don't want to start with a few losses. So a good draw with black there would be very, very good. This game is interesting. Fe5, queen c5. Yeah, bishop d4. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, that's true. This game is quite interesting. I've got to say, quite involved, really. So let's have a look. c3 and d3, a slow Italian. Then these early bishop g5s. Yeah, I mean, you know, early bishop g5 I always associated as a total amateur move. You get hit by g5 and then you're worse. Hey, hello, Alexander. So yeah, you know, but somehow, I mean, Sergei Tivyakov, big expert on these structures, you know, started doing these things, and yeah, you know, seems to be making it work. But I find it very hard to believe, really. You know, I mean, that you're playing this move bishop h4 and you're just allowing, you know, g5 to happen. Your bishop's stuck on here, just facing a wall, and yeah, I don't know. There's always stuff like h5 to h4 coming in, you know. I find it very hard to believe, but yeah, black players are doing this. So yeah, what can you say? So bishop g4 played here, h3, bishop h5. So yeah, I mean, this is giving you g4 as well. But I suppose, yeah, I mean, the one difficulty for black is, where is that king going to go? For the moment, it's not too crucial, but I suppose, you know, that at some stage maybe d4 will happen and the king might be exposed. But still, I much prefer black here, I have to say. But I guess that's not what the engines are thinking, is it? What are the engines saying in this position? What does Stockfish want? Not going to give me the lines. Minus 0.33. That's Stockfish's gut feeling at depth 21. And I mean, at very, very short lines, but okay. AB, bishop b5. Castles, rook e1, bishop g6. Yeah, just keeping an eye on e4. Yeah, the king's castled where these pawns are, but yeah, hard to get at. And yeah, these two are stopping d4. And you're just going to have to do something with this knight. Yeah, I mean, knight d8 to e6 is really, you know, if you ask me how would you want to put your pieces, that would be my intuitive thought. But obviously, you've got to watch out for d4 at some stage. So this move rook c1 played, very subtle, but you know, looking for, I think, for ideas like d4, and then this rook is suddenly opposing the queen. So if the knight moves away, we've got bishop takes d6 with a pin on the pawn, stuff like that. Just one of those subtle, mysterious moves. Nimzovich style. Hey, Rodrigo, how are things? So knight h5. Thanks for everyone who's just joined. Just going to be a short stream, just probably until 10 to 5 or something like that. Just looking through a few of the games, and I'm just practicing using this interface. I'm going to be doing a little bit of streaming a little bit later this year, so just getting used to it. So knight h5 played. So yeah, I mean, I guess maybe this knight is coming round to e6, or maybe maybe black just wants to be able to play f5. Why not? But yeah, doesn't really want to give up any control of e5 really, and that's sort of understandable. Bishop h2, knight g7. Yeah, the threat by the way was knight g3, and you're pinned here, so got to avoid that. Knight g7, d4, and then f6. Very interesting plan there. So basically, black decided that d4, was not, you couldn't really stop that. So just went for this very solid Steinitz-ish structure, really. So white playing the move knight f1, very typical now, aiming for these light squares, f5 and d5. So black regrouping to e7. Yeah, that knight can move away now. And this is quite a natural thing. It's covering f5 and d5, and it's keeping e6 for the other knight. So knight e3, and then, interesting, h5. Yeah, interesting little move there. Just sort of, saying to white, I could play g4 at some stage, I could. It's, interesting. I mean, the one thing about it is that, when you play h5, it means that f5 is going to be, going to be much more difficult, because the h pawn is defending the g5 pawn. When you play h5, f5 might be more tricky. But yeah, interesting. I don't know whether white was a little bit worried about knight g4, maybe attacking here. That might be a plan sometime. But now Wei Yi has played c4, and well, it's not, obviously, as you can see, it's not getting the seal of approval from the engines. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the key point to it all really is what on earth is white planning against c6? I think that's really the key question, because if you go bishop a4, well, I can do it in several ways, but I could just go e takes d4 here, and if takes, I just take, and yeah, this one's hanging, so takes here. Yes, so Slav, it's a very interesting position. So what I was assuming was that white's got some sort of piece sacrifice in mind. Either he might be saying, okay, I'll go d takes e5. Obviously, if you take there, well, I'll take here, and then I'll take there, and I'll have compensation. If you take here, then I'll go bishop a4. Although I have to say that, taking on e5 like this, I'm not really sure that's completely part of your plan. The other thing I was vaguely thinking about, might c5 be the idea? Obviously takes, I can take here, and after knight c6, well, I've got various ideas. d5 wins the piece back, for example. And if you go e takes, then I can maybe take on here. Although that looks a little bit awkward. Takes. That is not good. E takes d4. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I could maybe take back on here, because this knight can't move. Looks pretty random. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll come to that, Abdulrahman, absolutely. Yeah, so c5, and then if d takes c5, then I want to go bishop c4 check, and then d takes c5. So I don't know whether it's good, but that might be an idea. Yeah, taking on e4, that's also possible. What I'm expecting is that we're going to try and do something like c5 here, and he's just going for the big breakup of the structure. Don't know whether it's good or anything, but that's what I'm sort of expecting. But no, taking on e4, I hadn't even noticed it was legal, Slav. So thanks for pointing that one out. Yeah, e takes d4 is possible. I'm wondering whether knight d5 might be the idea then. That we we just try and sidestep this. So I'm sort of thinking that that playing c6 first is going to be the best line there. But yeah, very interesting. Oh, but e takes d4 has been played first. Interesting. So, I mean, to be honest, I was also not 100% sure about these lines, because by taking on d4 like this, you weaken that. I mean, there's pins along the d file as well, so it's all it's all a total mess really. But yeah, not sure at all. Not sure. It's yeah, e takes d4. I thought c6 was better, but yeah. Anyway, we'll see. That's quite all quite stunning there. Very interesting game. Oh, it looks like Alireza is just winning that, I think. Yeah. The problem is if you go knight d6, or you cover f7, I just go queen g5 check. So then you have to go back to here. And, well, if I've got nothing else, I'm going h5. So, yeah, we already looked at this push of the h pawn in earlier. Yeah, this was some analysis earlier. So, yeah. Yeah, it's like shelling peas, really. This is a trivial for Alireza. So, yeah, very good game. Looks like it's going to be a win there. Let's have a look at the challengers. Anton Korobov, very talented Ukrainian player, beat Divya Deshmukh. What have we got? We've got Harika attacking against Daniel. We've got Hans Niemann against Yilmaz. Wow, this looks pretty even, really. I think this is one that just looks like a position that's going to get neutralized for white. Saleh Salem, Jaime Santos Latasa. Well, this must be pretty equal, I think. Yeah, just not very much happening there, I think. Stefan Bokema against Elina Rubers. That's quite interesting. We'll have a little look at that one. Liam Vrolik against Erwin Lamy. Yeah, Erwin playing a very solid black side of the Catalan. And Leon-Luc Mendonca against Marc-Andrea Maurizi. Yeah. I guess it should be fine for black. It's just I'm a bit nervous about the king being on c8 and these pawns being weak and defended by the rook. But I think probably black needs to play some active, accurate moves here somehow. And I would expect him to be okay. But it's also the sort of thing that could go wrong quite quickly. Let's have a look at Elina Rubers. So 14 years old, IM, very talented Dutch junior. Let's have a look how this went. So I think that Stefan got into the tournament because he won the Tienkamp, which is the sort of the third tier of the Tata Steel tournament. So he got in there. Quite an unorthodox opening here. Maybe queen d8, just an extra pawn for black, you think, Abdul Rahman, in that Gukesh game? Okay. Maybe none of it works. That's completely possible. I don't know though. Sorry, just have a quick head back there, because knight d5 has been played. Queen d8. Yeah. What am I thinking of? I mean, knight d4. I mean, I'm just randomly, but I'm sort of thinking stuff like this, maybe. I've got this. I've got this. Yeah, I don't know. c5. Yeah, c5. I was thinking here somehow, but and if ed, then bishop c5. You know that. Well, even this looks like some sort of compensation. Although a2 is hanging as well, which is a little bit. Well, maybe you could go a4. Just hold that first. I mean, even c takes d6 is not completely crazy. So, yeah, maybe it is crazy. Just knight c3 is probably okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, knight c3, hoping cdc. Yeah, that's right. I think, yeah, I don't know. Knight d4 doesn't look so stupid. I mean, if we do this, I could always take and go bishop here, you know, and or somehow I must be getting some material, you'd have thought. Might be losing a piece somehow, but get a lot of pawns. Yeah, I don't know. It's very complicated, very difficult. I mean, the big problem for these players, of course, they have no idea whether it's better for white or worse for white. So yeah, bishop c4 is possible indeed in this position. Where we were talking about this one, but I don't know really. Bishop c5 or even d takes c5 here. Not sure. It's not feeling like fantastic compensation. It's just sort of feeling like we're hanging on and we're trying to create a mess really. Yeah, thrilling. Let's keep on going with this one. So rather unorthodox opening there. E4, bishop g7. This has turned out quite nicely for white, really. It should just be a small advantage. But, if you play d4 and 2 g3, that's basically what you should be happy with. You're quite well organized here. The bishop comes to e3, pawn on h3. Knights on e2 can come out f4 to d5. So, yeah, quite decent position here. Knight e5. Yeah, that's a little bit sneaky. Queen d2 was a little bit incautious, wasn't it, really? Move like king h2 maybe, or maybe even, f4 would have been sensible, I would have thought. Queen d2 is a little bit stereotyped, because after knight e5, we're threatening both knight c4. We're also threatening this threat, bishop h3 takes knight f3. So, well, queen c1 is maybe slightly lucky. A lucky find there. Bishop d7. And now b3. So, okay, you're dealing with c4 and you're maybe going to play f4 next. Rook c8 and then queen a3. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I have to say this does not look impressive at all from white. These pieces are just going very, very strangely. But it's always the thing, that if you, yeah, could be, Alexander, indeed. Yeah, if you get away with it, then then fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I'd just be looking at playing a5 and b5 very quickly. Queen b8 from Elina looks a little bit, tiny bit passive somehow. F4, knight c6, knight d5. That looks odd as well, I have to say. I don't mean to criticize all these moves. It's just it just feels really feels like yeah, white's playing a lot of standard moves, but in such a weird, a strange way somehow. But yeah, b5 played. Yeah, it doesn't quite look right really, but I'm not 100% sure what black should do here. Maybe just knight e8. It's possible, isn't it? You're just going to play e6 and then go b5 and b4. I don't know. But anyway, b5, b4, and queen b5. Yeah, I think neither player really getting to grips with it here. But what we've ended up here now after knight takes d5 is actually a pretty typical structure for these lines, and this should not be bad at all for white. Okay, the c2 pawn is can be targeted, but it can also be defended quite easily. And we've got a nice c6 square. E7 square is weak. Yeah, no, I think that oh, hi Tim. I think somehow that that both players got themselves a bit confused. Actually, White was a bit confused after this Queen D2 move, and is just struggling to re-establish some equilibrium, and somehow playing strangely. Yeah, it's confusing Black as well. Now, it's happened a lot in my games. That somehow, yeah, things are so strange that that both players end up getting confused, and it promises that Elina's looking like she's quite a bit shorter of time as well. So that's also not so great. So Queen A5 and now F5. Yeah, this is definitely an easier position for White to play now. Whenever you're attacking, you're always happy there. Rook C7, Rook F2, Rook C8, Rook DF1, Rook DF1. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that this one, I was just wondering actually whether, would we be able to do this, but this looks incredibly dangerous. Oh yeah, sorry, mate 5 says the engine. So that looks, that indeed looks good. Let's switch off the lines. It's always a bit confusing. No, I don't see anything amazing. I mean, rook c3 move like this looks quite tempting, just to try and. I mean, you could even go. Actually, even queen a2 is quite tempting because you could, you could start thinking about having some rook c2 stuff in the end. Bishop b5 played. Knight b5 takes bishop e4. Yes, this is going to be quite solid now. It must be said. But still, rook c3. I don't think it's so bad for black still. It just feels like somehow black hasn't quite made everything that you feel she should have done. But yeah, I mean, you're quite well entrenched there with your pieces. Queen e8 and f6. Takes bishop a7. Wow, that's a move. f5, bishop d3, knight f7. Ah, I think black's probably doing quite decently here, I think. That would be my feeling. Because, I mean, this bishop's really strong, and if you remove it, the knight's coming into e5. So that feels like it should be quite decent there. Bishop e3, rook c7. Just wanting to avoid bishop d2. Yeah, I mean, I know the engine's giving question marks and all that. I'm not necessarily, finding immediately, better moves that I think, yes, that's the move that I would want to play. Yeah, to be honest, this does look quite natural. Although I do wonder whether bishop d2 is really something to be worried about, because you could just play rook c2. Rook f5 indeed is dangerous. And I was sort of thinking king g7 maybe, or maybe queen f8 would have been something interesting to try and bring the queen into contact with these squares. And if you go bishop d2, I mean, I would really like to do something like this. With the second rank, you can't be driven away from it. It's one of those things. So, sort of lots of play. You've even got stuff like bishop c3, knight e5. You've got knight g5 into e4. So, yeah, if you can't be driven away, then, yeah, you might as well get your queen active here, Also, yeah, the queen does give some protection to the black king there. So, yeah. I think both players somehow, I think the course of the game has kind of upset both players, and they're just struggling to really, make a grip, get a grip of it somehow. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure time trouble is going to play a role in here as well. Wow! By the way, have you seen this knight on a7 from Hans? I mean, I guess it can always get back into play through here, or you could even take on c6 somehow. But that's pretty interesting play. But I guess that Black's just threatening now to take on c5 and play king e7. I think that would be very natural. So if bishop c4, I think we'll just take and go king e7 here, which should be all right. I mean, I'm expecting a draw here. Quite soon, in actual fact. But interesting play, yeah. Knight c8 round 2. Oh, it's been to c8 already, so it's going round to a7. Funny, really funny. Yeah, I haven't seen much knight play like that before. Let's have a little look. Let's see what's happening in computer chess at the moment. We've got Stockfish against Torch in the chess.com CCC 22 Blitz finals, 3+2. So Torch beat Leela pretty convincingly. I think, in general, at these faster time limits, Torch does seem to be stronger than Leela on the chess.com hardware. But I don't know. I don't think the chess.com hardware is so bad for Leela. Yeah, I would expect that you could just say that it seems stronger at this time limit. So what have we got here? Was this a this was an Alakin Shattard attack, h4. But black not taking on g5. Taking on g5 seems to be all right for black, and f6 is another key theoretical move. Knight c6 is less good in principle. Queen d2. So yeah, I mean, having played the move knight c6, you don't have c5 anymore. F6 can be met by f4. So basically, you've just got a bit of a passive French position here, really, where you're not going to be able to get much counterplay for a long time. It's not absolutely appalling, but it's not that great. So Queen a3, a little bit of a repetition. I guess Torch trying to stop Stockfish from casting queenside. Stockfish always takes these opportunities for repeats. So yeah, bishop comes back to d3 now. So maybe looking for for knight b5 here, and then castles. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely CCC is definitely I think, relatively speaking, worse than the TCC for Leela. So that's definitely true. But just it's just in general, are you saying that thinking, how bad is it? Yeah, not so bad. It's still pretty impressive. Still pretty impressive hardware for Leela to run on. So yeah, it's but it's, whatever it's clear that Torch is pretty strong. I think stronger than Dragon, and yeah, very very much very much a top 3 engine, I think. So and then yeah, with Leela it's a little bit up in the air. I think time control does play a role as to which is stronger, and yeah, obviously Stockfish still godlike as always. So yeah, Stockfish just moving the king over to the other side. Yeah, at some stage you're going to move these queenside pawns forward, and yeah, you'd rather have your king over here, really. Really, if black was going to achieve anything there on the king side, yeah, it'd be hard to do that. Actually, quite an interesting strategy, isn't it? Because Stockfish is actually looking like wants to make some play on the king side now. It's just leaving these queenside pawns to be taken. That is actually quite amazing, I have to say. So c3. Okay, f1. I do think there's going to be a break on the queen side at some stage, but yeah, somehow the engines have taken a bit of a detour there. And but I mean, the nice thing about having played this bishop g6 and takes, I mean, first of all, some endings are going to be quite good for you. But secondly, it's also stopping black from really making any big counterplay on the king side. So you've kind of sealed off one wing there. I mean, there's a little bit of play. I mean, black can try and win that g6 pawn, but I'm wondering, is Torch going to try and do that? You can try and go for it, but that's going to take a very long time. So you can cover it with quite a lot. So yeah, okay. Well, what's the score? 46.5 to 33.5 to Stockfish. So yeah, once again, Stockfish looking good. But yeah, well, we'll see how the match goes on. Finally, we're still with the TCC. We're still 4K against All Guys bonus. This is the Stro 4K engine against Glaurung, the granddaddy of Stockfish. Chalk Castle with the queenside rook, Tim. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, Berserk's getting strong. Yeah, I've been quite impressed with Berserk recently. I mean, yeah, Dragon 3.3. I'm doing a lot of videos with it at the moment, and I like it a lot. I mean, I think it's a strong engine, and yeah, I mean, what I like about it is that it does find different ideas than Stockfish, or rather, I mean, these engines, they see all of the ideas in the position, right? But you know, Dragon gets interested in different ideas somehow, and you know, that sort of highlights them to you. Which you know, from that point of view, I like analysing with Dragon very, very much. It gives a different perspective to Stockfish, and a different perspective to Leela as well, which is of course quite different. So so that's why I like Dragon. But yeah, if they're not going to develop Dragon anymore, and I guess that 3.3 was the last one, then yeah, engines like Berserk will most likely get strong. But yeah, Berserk's a nice engine actually. So yeah, definitely enjoy using that one as well. I mean, I like using engines that are just a bit outside the top. I mean, yeah, of course, you know, Stockfish Leela, fantastic, but yeah, you do get surprised sometimes by the you know, the lovely things that these slightly different engines find. Sometimes it's just a bit worse, but sometimes, you know, it's worse than what Stockfish finds, but still way good enough for a human game. You know, that's kind of the thing, really. So okay, well, what is this position? This is a little bit of weirdness. We've given Glaurung and good old-fashioned English opening, and it's got a bit random here. B4. Interesting move. And H4. Well, Stro 4K does not mind moving its pawns forward, it's clear. If it's got a knight to attack, you know, B4 to B5 or H4 to H5, then it's going to move its pawns forward. Quite interesting. Okay, this is should be quite pleasant for white. This black doesn't have much against the white center. And the queen of c3 is a little bit weird, but it's hitting the knight on c6. So, you know, you're not going to be able to attack it there. Bishop b2. Is that a square I would want for my bishop? Well, if you go d5, then we can go e takes d6 and d5. So it's probably actually quite a subtle little place for the bishop. It's just that on c1, h6, you know, well, you're thinking about rook h3 to g3 or something like that somehow. Yeah. Yeah, g4. I guess knight takes d4 was possible already there, but yeah, really would g4 to g5 felt like the move. But bishop b2, as I said, it's stopping d5. So asking black the question really about, well, how are you going to develop exactly? I'm not sure a5 is really going to help matters very much, to be honest. We'll just go b5, and yeah, black's getting a little bit squashed. So yeah, looking quite good for Stro 4K at the moment. Let's have a little look back at our games. So yeah, this is going to end in a draw. Nadir Beck against Prague. This one, well, black still got to be careful, but yeah, I mean, this is quite a good Maginot line, really, in terms of defensive structure. I don't really see white being able to do very much here, really. So I would expect a draw. Geary against Vidit is a draw. Anish Geary tweeted that he had one friend left in the whole world, and Mr. Beads is here. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to look at Vey against Gukesh. Welcome. Swiss 6 testing. Supposed to start tomorrow. Oh, lovely. Because to be honest, yeah, I'm trying to be interested in 4K against grandpa engines, but after a while, the excitement does wane a little. So yeah, it would be nice to get the Swiss going. I love the Swiss. One of my favorite events, I have to say. So always some nice stuff, and I like seeing you know, this disparity of engines playing each other. You sort of see stuff that you don't really see normally. But what has happened here? So queen d8, knight takes d4. Yes, that was my move. That was what we were saying there. And yeah, I was really expecting some knight f5 to be coming in. So bishop c5 played by black. Okay, just protecting the d6 square. And then knight b3 happened. Ooh, that's quite sneaky. Hitting the bishop on c5, and then bishop a3. So hitting the rook on c1 and playing c6. Yeah, in a way, it feels unnatural to give up this one, because this one has indeed, well, there is a place full of friends. I've got to have a look at Wilder. I have no clue what it is, but yeah, just made me curious now. But probably not for an old fogey like me. I think I should stick to Facebook, where we've chased away all the young people, or Mastodon, of course, where I'm probably the most active chess player there, I suppose. Yeah, no, that's right, Alexander. I mean, it's Mark Dvoretsky, great Russian trainer, recommended playing games of Lasker against the top players of their time, because you easily saw mistakes, and very very instructive to look at games of like Michael Adams against the 2200. You see the disparity, you see how things go wrong, and you get games like Stockfish against Winter, where Stockfish wins a Berlin with White, and you see you sort of see what happens if minute errors are made. So certainly from a chess point of view, I think the Swiss throws up a lot of very very instructive games. Find it very very interesting there. So definitely nice. But after bishop a3, knight c7 was not a move that was particularly on my radar, I have to say. The engine not liking it at all. But that must have come as a shock, I think, because but obviously, yeah, I mean, obviously something's happening. You're either going c5 or you're going knight takes c7 immediately. So queen c7 there, and then c5, bishop c1, and now c takes d6. I would say that currently black is a rook and a piece down. But what on earth are you trying to do? How can you keep your pieces? That is the question. Because obviously, when you take on e7 here, you're going to be attacking the rook, and then this one is going to be hanging. So you would have thought normally that white is at least getting back the exchange. So queen b6 was played by black, hitting that bishop on b5. Is that a good move? Well, I guess really. I mean, I guess hitting that bishop is quite a good idea. But now I would think that the move you've got to play is bishop c4 check, right? I guess this is the only move you can do, because I mean, if you go, well, no, well, that's not quite clear. I mean, if I go de, what I'm a bit worried about is this move rook c8, because then I'm protecting this one, so you can only take it with a knight first of all, and then I can play queen takes b5, and well, I could play bishop d7 or something, but then I go bishop a3, I guess. Yeah, rook f7. I was thinking, well, yeah, bishop c4. Bishop c4, I was thinking e5, and, well, maybe even that doesn't look that great, does it? But now I was thinking maybe could I go knight c1 and queen d8, but there I've got queen e8. So that's all working together. I mean, rook f7 or rook f c8. That could all be the... But okay, so bishop c4 check, and now we're saying rook f7, David. I think that's what you're saying. That is conceivable. Threatening king h7 de. Yeah, I mean, we're threatening. We don't have a good. I mean, I guess you can. Well, I mean, by this stage, you're going to be happy just to get any sort of decent material back. So. Rook f7. All righty. Well, I mean, I want to keep attacking, don't I? So let's just go de, and then we'll go bishop a3 here. Well, I have to say I'm struggling to see the compensation here for white. How on earth are you going to do this? Well, I mean, it's just... I mean, at some stage, when you're trying to look at something complicated, you start tallying up little things in the position, to either to convince yourself it's too complicated to be sure, but and seeing a knight on b3 when all the action is happening, over here, this is a sort of thing that makes me start to think that this is not good at all. I can't play like this. I mean, we've got moves like e5, but I mean, even stuff like f5, right? I mean, if I go e6, I've got rook e7, so it's not really. Yeah, that's Tim. That's another good line as well. Yeah, that's another good line. Yeah, these are all good lines. All these lines about black hitting the pawn on c4 somehow. Yeah, I mean, I was for this one, I was sort of thinking, well, maybe king h7. I prefer, I think, but d rook c8. I go queen c1, and then I'm just hoping that I'm holding this bishop somehow. But I mean, I guess queen b4 is really strong anyway. Knight d2. I could even play b5 here. Oh, I think this is gone. I think this is completely gone, to be honest. Yeah, queen b4. Yeah. I think this is completely gone. I think white's just gone bananas. I mean, what's the time situation? Oh, just 2 minutes for Wei Yi, and Gukesh has got 14 minutes. Yeah, don't like the look of this. I think white's gone too far here. I mean, you sort of look at all the pieces; they're all pointing the wrong way as well. It's yeah, these pieces would need to be pointing over here to have any sort of follow up. Over here, they're just vaguely being active, but they're not really contributing there. So, no, I think we're going to have a win for Gukesh as black there, which is nice because Wei Yi is dangerous. I think Wei Yi could beat anyone. I think he could also lose to anyone, but he could also beat anyone. So, yeah. What's happening with? Let's have a look. Oh, so Alireza has won this after Parham's mistake there in the opening. Very strange. Very strange. What Parham did. Just chose a very bad move, which the CDB, the Chess Cloud database, already knew about. So this move, Bishop E6, it was already ranked as a clear advantage for black. So yeah, very strange that Parham went in for that. It's just like a free day really for white really. Queen d8 97. Yeah, I think it was just a bit desperate, really. I mean, this is really a lot of bluff, I think, and it was just bluff, and but worrying bluff, but somehow it looks like Gukesh has just calculated his way out of it. He's very, he's just very good. He's just a very, very, very strong player. So yeah, I don't think this is going to last too long. It's just desperate. Let's just have a quick look at what's happening with Jordan. Are we? What happened here actually? So Bishop b3, Rook d6 was played. Yeah, this is quite worrying somehow. These bishops all over the place, threatening to come to c6. We've seen this theme before. So Rook takes d4 was played. E takes d4, and Bishop d1. So Jordan obviously thought, well, I've got to try and hold on the bishop, the exchange down. This is not so clear, I think. Somehow, I mean, we've got the two bishops here. For white, we've got quite a big kingside pawn majority, yeah, looks like the white king is sort of safe. I mean, obviously it's a little bit fragile here, but we could also just move out of the way here. So
you got a parcel for Jan?
A parcel for Jan. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody at the door. Play amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. No. No parcel. No. We've got nothing because we were out, and then we were in. I haven't seen this before. Right. Sorry about that. Royal Mail. Royal Mail doing some stuff. One of the more exciting stream moments there. So, yeah. So, what did Black play? These positions are tricky. I can tell you. With I've often had them with you've done really well with Black, then you get an advantage, but somehow the remaining position is quite unclear. But Rook E8, H4, Rook check, King there. So just winning a bit of time there. That's quite clever. Rook C6, King D2. Oh, are we repeating? Surely not. Surely not. Black's got loads of time here. Well, it hasn't got much time. I mean, I quite agree, yeah, that this is tricky, but C5, okay. Yeah. Okay, so Black going for it. Yeah, Rook E6 was what I was sort of Rook E6 was what I was thinking as well, or Rook E5. I'm not sure which one, but Rook E6 felt like quite good. Because this one will be hard to defend, yeah? I mean, if you go B4, I don't know, I go A5 or something, right? I'd just... maybe some worries about H5 or something, but I think... I don't know. But then you'd have Bishop H5, wouldn't you? Yeah, Rook E6 looked quite strong to me, but I'm guessing that C5 is also quite strong. I mean, you're trying to get in C4 to C3 here and just break open the king. Actually, when that happens, if that lands, then that's going to be really dangerous. How has Leela changed and improved over the last year? Yeah, evaluation just keeps getting better and better, even more godlike. And yeah, I mean, they keep on making Leela tactically, better. And they've also introduced some very nice stuff. There's nothing to do with strength somehow, but this win draw loss stuff that you can change its style. I should play around more with that. That would be a really nice stream to do. I was thinking, that you could I could play against Leela and in different styles, and you could watch me getting beaten up in all sorts of different ways. I'm sure Mr. Beads would enjoy that. I will do it, but I've got to prepare it a little bit and try and work out how to configure it properly and all that, because it's slightly complicated. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot. They're doing a lot of nice stuff like that on making it really useful as a human tool somehow. So that would be quite nice. But yeah, anyway, that's one of the things I'm thinking of. I've got as a plan for the future. But just time always, and if you do it, you've got to make sure you do it right somehow. But yeah, no, I think the contempt is quite nice somehow. So yeah, I'm going to try and do some work with that. So H5, Bishop D3, Bishop G7. Yes, that's what I was sort of thinking, that the bishop could come around to G7 and stop C4 from happening. What are we going to do here with Black? How are we going to push through? I'm not sure about this C5 plan. It's upsetting me really that I can't get a rook on the C file anymore, because that felt so good. But anyway, we should. Yeah, no, I mean, you could have you can do some great training with Contempt Leela. I think you really can. So yeah, no, I should have a think about it and then try and do something, because I think that there's some really nice possibilities for it. But yeah, just as always, it's just a question of just finding the right time somehow to do it all. Just sort of wondering how could I do this for Black? It just feels C5, King to D5 to play C4. Wow, that's bold. I'm a bit worried I'd get hit with H6 and Rook H5s, really. I mean, I could go Rook D8 and just play for C4 to C3, I suppose. It feels wrong somehow. But bishop e2 played. I don't like that. I saw that. I'd seen that idea before, but I did not like that. That can't be right. Can't be right to do this. Not to free up the king. I mean, I'm not saying that this is. I mean, I'm wondering a little bit. I mean, can't we just go something like rook e1 now? I mean, I just want to, at some stage, I just want to play f4 and bishop e5 check and just block you like that. I'm not sure. Oh, f4 played, yeah. Oh. That's not right, though. That's completely wrong because we're going bishop d1 now. That wasn't possible because king d1, we've got rook b2. And obviously, bishop e5 check, I just take you. And rook d1, I've got rook e2 here. Surely f4 is a big blunder. That's why I wanted to play rook e1 first and then go f4 and bishop e5. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm completely wrong as well. That's always possible, but that seemed very much like the most normal. I was vaguely wondering about another line, but I guess it's totally crazy. Bishop a4, bishop f3, bishop e8, bishop h1, and then bishop g6 in this position. And then if hg, I've got h6, which would be quite probably making a draw, I guess. Maybe. But yeah. No, I mean, f4 is a really strange move there. I think it just takes and rook e2, right? I mean, that's not... if you have to start playing moves like b4, then, I mean, really, we should be... this must surely be very unpleasant for white. Yeah, black's taken on d1. Oh, this would be a really... this would be really, really bad for Jordan because, yeah, now, of course, Max is a very good player. It's not that, but he's not the guy that you want to lose to with the white pieces. You know, that's not how you want to plan your tournament there. Wei Yi has lost to Gukesh. Yeah, just what we expected, really. That's and I think we're definitely expecting another decisive game here. Jordan against Max. And Jan is going to keep on grinding somehow, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of assuming that this is actually just equal in principle, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm sort of thinking that could we even go bishop c7 here? Wouldn't this be quite sensible? I don't know. It's one of the joys of not being a professional anymore that you don't actually need to. You don't actually need to really calculate. Oh, rook b3 played in. What on earth was wrong with rook e2? Might be even stronger, this one, I guess. Yeah, I guess it. No, really. I mean, I guess he wants to stop b4, but can't we throw in bishop e5 now? I mean, is this what he's intending? This seems a little bit... doesn't seem right, really. And just to give white this for free, that doesn't look right at all. Well, maybe he's going to try and do it subtly and go behind and then take like this. That could be the idea. Maybe just a super refined technique. Possible. It's possible. Maybe this is a super clever idea. It's possible. Because this would be very good, wouldn't it? I mean, you're a pawn up already in this rook ending. You're definitely going to win another one. At least. Maybe the simplest. But yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't necessarily be my way of finishing off. But okay, let's have a look. Oh, we're coming to yeah, no, Nepo's just Nepo's got a grind. I mean, that's perfectly yeah. I guess rookie 2b4 was the concern, but I'm not really sure it was a concern really. But Leela GMMDS stream, yeah, I'm sort of thinking of doing something with Contempt Leela or something, and just trying and getting killed. It's so yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it. So we'll have a look. Whoa, Hunt is doing a good job here. How do you do this? Queen c3. Okay, he retreated the queen, sacrificing the pawn like that. Okay. Ooh. This is a Leela-like squeeze. This, I have to say. Yeah, that's right. And well, I mean, White against Yun, when Yun again, Yun is a very strong player. She's a lot stronger than her rating. Yeah, again, it's one of the players where you sort of say before the tournament, I mean, yeah, with White, I have to win this simply. I think what Anish did with Black, grinding her down from a position where he'd been much worse, was sort of excellent for his tournament. I mean, it's really absolutely what you want. And well, I think Jan is also looking at his tournament in general here. Oh, she has played Bishop c7, like I said. I'm guessing that that Jan will play something like Bishop e3 to d4 here. I would have thought that might be quite natural. Just trying to force Black to make a decision about the pawn structure. Maybe play e5 or something. Again, you don't really know whether it's good or not, but you have to do something. So it's pretty much the pretty much the approach that they had in Grind Like a Grandmaster. This book by Magnus Carlsen and David Howell. Very good, actually. But you saw indeed that Jordan didn't go g4 here. He went rook g1. So I think he was afraid of this rook g3 idea. So yeah, he's trying to keep things tight at the back and now preparing to play g4. I don't know. I think you're going to regret this with Black. I mean, these sort of techniques very difficult. But yeah, sometimes sort of hyper refined technique. This might be the best way to do it, but where you don't get to anything clear, and the opposing player still has more and more opportunities to keep life in the position. They're very tiring to win, and yeah, if White only had the move g4, g4 in this position, then of course this is a very good way to win the position. But if you've got rook g1, then yeah, it's just very unclear, right? Because well, not for an engine, but I mean, we're getting g4 now. Actually, why rook g8? What is rook g8 made of? Rook h3, I guess, will be the idea. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, maybe you can do. Maybe this is just, maybe this is just really, excellently calculated, and it's all going to work out fine. But yeah, it makes me nervous somehow. Yeah, it makes me nervous. But yeah, this is probably the way to do it. So maybe after rook g8, we need to go f5 here, because rook g5 we have g4. So I guess you could go something like maybe rook f3 then, because g4 we've got rook f5, so f6, rook f5. Yeah, maybe it's very good. Maybe it is very good. I take it all back, Max. Maybe it is very good. But I don't know, it makes me nervous. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you've got good calculator, that's why you need good calculation. You need to do it. I do wonder about rook e2. I think that was maybe simpler. But g4 rook h3 has been played. So yeah. Let's. I'm just going to. Let's just do another. We were having a look at Hunt, weren't we? It was quite impressive technique, I thought. I can tell you. Do you know? I mean, I think I've almost had this position against. Sorry, I don't mean I don't mean anything by it at all. But I've had this sort of position against Stockfish from one of my openings, one of my Queen's Gambit accepted testing out. It's not this position exactly, but very similar, with 2 pawns and 2 and 3 against each other, and just suffering horribly, getting ground down horribly. But Hans is doing a lovely job here, actually. Just kept playing the position, and still a lot for Black to do. I'm wondering what would be the assessment of this position. I think Black's probably still should be still all right. I mean, if White had an extra move and you were getting bishop f3 in straight away, then I would sort of say, yeah, I think the writing's on the wall. But I think that you can. Bishop d3 is a nice move. Bishop d3 is a very nice move, I have to say. Hitting h7. The idea is that after h6, you play king f2, and if king e7, you can give a nice knight f5 check, and the knight can't be chased away. I mean, that's the big thing about chess compared to shogi, for example. You don't get things like this in shogi because when pieces get exchanged, the next wave of attack begins, which is very nice, but it always feels a little bit technicolor in compared to chess with all those, subtle nuances and shades of color. This is quite nice. h6 played, and now I guess we're going king f2 now. I don't know. I could definitely lose this one very easily. That's all I can say. I mean, White doesn't want to exchange off this light squared bishop too early, actually, because it's sort of in the middle. It's holding the b7 pawn together, but it's also attackable in the middle and also blocking, squares for the black knight as well. So, I think, you're going to try and go g3, king e3, king d4, and then, when the moment is right, you'll try and swap it off. Maybe go a5 as well, pin this one down. Maybe this is lost, actually. Maybe this is lost. Both are bad, Abdul Rahman. Both are bad. I wouldn't recommend either. It's maybe this is just lost already. Actually, wouldn't amaze me. Actually, let's just what does weak Stockfish say? Oh, only plus minus 0.24. So yeah, still a bit skeptical about that, but pretty nasty anyway. What have we got? We've got Liam Vrolik against Erwin Lamy. White's made quite a bit of progress there. My goodness. Is that an extra pawn? Yeah, it is an extra pawn. My goodness. And b6 as well. Oh, dear me. Oh, that's unexpected. I thought, I don't know. I thought, this opening isn't great, but I thought that this is sort of position Erwin holds quite easily, just playing sensibly, nothing crazy. But he got hit by the old d5 here. And bishop c4, d6. My goodness. Wow. Oh, again, that's again, Liam, very strong player, and not but from a tournament perspective as well. He's not the sort of guy that you want to lose to, considering how many other strong players there are in the tournament. It's you sort of guy from a tournament perspective. You sort of say, well, I like to hold a solid draw against him as black if I can. So yeah, tough. All right, and we've got this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Black's doing quite nicely actually. So very safe king. So I think that Black's going to maybe have a little bit of time trying to grind this one. I mean, it's just that potentially I think the white king is weaker than the black king. You can get a bishop on there, but to get all this organized somehow will be quite tricky. Feels like a sort of an alpha zero position against Stockfish. Got a lot of these opposite colored bishop positions where in some positions alpha zero managed to make something even against Stockfish. Obviously only Stockfish 8, but still a very good defender. But yeah, I think the white should probably hold this quite solid, but it's going to be much more pleasant for black. We're going to have quite a few decisive games indeed. Yeah, it's yes, that's right. Maybe that's just Erwin's way of welcoming people to Tata Steel as one of the elder statesmen of Dutch chess. He's younger than me, I think, but he's just welcoming people to Tata. But loads of decisive games indeed. I mean, it's true, but I mean, the Vikings, they just do a nice job of bringing together lots of different players, hungry players, different styles, and throwing them together. And I think also the weather at Vikings plays a role because some people get colds and ill, and some people get a little bit depressed at times. The weather is really, really grey all the time. So not everyone is equally in form by the end of the tournament. So that just automatically makes the tournament a bit random, and randomness is what you need. I mean, that's absolutely true. Oh, Elina Rubers lost again there to Stefan Bokemer. Final position was pretty convincing after d5, bishop takes d5. So, indeed, rook takes f5 happened. Wow. That did indeed happen. Yeah. Well, we saw it was in the position. Well done, David. But I hadn't realized it was going to be decisive already after rook 3 c7. That's why we were looking at queen f8 g7 rather than that move. And this proved impossible to hold somehow. Check. Rook f7. Very nice. Oh wow! It's a very nice finish. Look at that. And then bishop c4. If d5, bishop d5, queen g7. Very nice play. Very nice play. Well played, Stefan. Hard luck, Elina. And I think Elina started with 2 losses there, hasn't she? So yeah, going to be tough. Going to be tough this tournament. Just got to pull yourself together, keep things tight at the back, and just keep on going. Really, it's a tough tournament, a really tough tournament to play. So okay, let's just finish off in beauty. Torch against Stockfish. Torch delivering mate. In that game, what was the opening? That was it was one of these Alekin defenses. One of these systems. Queen e7 is a pretty ugly move, I have to say. b6. I mean, this whole line's a little bit tricky, but yeah. Well, Torch basically stomping all over Stockfish there. Not too surprising. Whoa, what happened there? This was a modern, very early a6, h4 played and bishop g5. Yeah, this is quite nasty. b5, carrying on like nothing happened. Bishop b7, bishop c4, knight f6, knight h3. Wow. 1.63 for Stockfish out the opening. Yeah, not sure about how good your chances are going to be there with black. Not sure how good Stockfish's chances are going to be either. Yeah, pretty cool attack, wasn't it, Alexander? Very nice game. Hopefully that game might get best game of the round. There've been some pretty good games. Gukesh is a very, very interesting game as well. But somehow it just turned out not to work at all, really. So from that point of view, nice tactics, but yeah, it was just all too much from Wei Yi. So I think this game definitely deserves a game of the round prize. E5. My goodness, what are you going to do here? Just got no space at all here. My goodness me. Oh, well, rather you than me, Stockfish, I think. So, yeah, bishop d5, maybe going to swap off some pieces, but yeah, going to be very hard to. Can't even go e6 because of there. Maybe queen c8. Queen c8, b8 maybe, and then try and move the knight away. But got stuff like knight f4. Yeah, knight f4, hitting g6 as well. Yeah, not very pleasant at all for black here. All right, well, I think I'm gonna close the stream here. I can see mealtime approaching. So yeah, thanks very much, everyone. Hope you're enjoying just these little streams, just taking a look together at some chess, mixing in a bit of engine chess with looking forward to seeing the Swiss happen, and yeah, seen some very nice games in the Tata Steel today. So Max did actually win that. Well done, Max, and completely ignore what what I said about your technique. It's turned out excellently, so very well done. And yeah, well, only got Jan playing around in ways only he knows what he's doing, really. But I think this is going to end up in a draw quite soon. So that would be good for Yuan just to start to get a name on the scoreboard there. Very important in such a strong tournament. So, there's still quite a few engine games. Well, yeah, I haven't done the engine games for a while. I'll probably have a look at some from the TCC Swiss. Now, I probably will also have a look through the Blitz tournament as well. It's just that whilst it's going on, it's too much to follow. Really, I need to wait until the events are over and then try and play through lots of the games and pick out the best ones. Really, so it's quite tricky with chess.com there because the time controls are so quick. But yeah, I'll definitely do some engine games as well when there. Thanks, Mr. Beads. Thanks very much, everyone, and see you around at the next random stream or for a video sometime. Thanks very much for watching.